Kansas City's playoff chances dropped from 76% to 60% after the loss in Brazil in Week 1. Additionally, their chance to win the AFC West and chance to win the Super Bowl were both cut in half. And check this out. Rob Gronkowski gave this boxing analogy when talking about the current Chiefs team.
Remember Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas? And Buster Douglas finally beat the crap out of Mike Tyson and made Mike Tyson not invincible anymore. Well, this is kind of the same situation. The Philadelphia Eagles punched him in the face. The Chiefs didn't know how to react to that because no one else was doing that. Well, going into this year now, the Los Angeles Chargers punched them in the face. The Chiefs were like, whoa, they're coming at us. How do we react? Well, they didn't know how to react because no one was doing that before. So the Philadelphia Eagles opened that floodgate of, hey, if you punch these guys in the face, you take it to them, you come out swinging, they're going to fold and they're not going to be the team that you've been seeing all last year.
I love it. Thanks to the Up and Adams show for that. There was a trampoline behind him. Did you guys notice that? What'd you make of that, Dan?
I was looking at the hydrangeas. You don't make it to 7 straight AFC championship games by being soft, okay? So I will say this. We've talked about that they need to get more explosive offensively, and you give them grace because their number 1 and number 2 wide receiver are out, and one of them is a speedster. That being said, while that's going on, I need my strength to be my strength if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you go back to Week 1 against the Chargers, the strength of this offense is supposed to be the interior of their offensive line, and they struggled. They struggled to move people off the line of scrimmage. They struggled in one-on-one situations. They struggled to displace people off the football. If we're the Chiefs offense, survive for some time without our perimeter players at full strength till we find out how to get explosive, we at least got to have our strength be our strength and win the interior part of our run game.
It's going to be even harder this week with Jalen Carter going to be out there, going to be playing. Isaiah Pacheco, a guy they need to get going. I look at this offense, though, at the same time, and I'm like, how do they figure out a way to be more explosive? Everyone's going to talk about going into this game is to attack Adoree Jackson. He's the weak link. I don't know that they have the guys to do so. I look at this game Friday night. You get in a situation, the Chargers are man-to-man all over the board. You pause this tape right here. Who is Patrick Mahomes supposed to throw the ball to? For Adoree Jackson, this game he matches up way better. There are no George Pickens out there. There is no CD Lamb out there. They have speed guys like Tyquan Thornton. They have a guy like Hollywood Brown, smaller guys that are thinner. Adoree matches up really well. I don't see an advantage for the Chiefs when it comes to that.
Yeah, and the Eagles' coverage is often one of those match coverages, right? Yes. You come to me and I stick to you, and really more often than not, the Chiefs have people open when it's that 5 to 8 yard route. Sure, you can get them open because it's a little bit softer. Yeah. Once you get 10, 12, 15 yards downfield, that's when they're getting locked up a little bit more. But to your point, if there is a week to have some success in the pass game, it's opposite Quinyon Mitchell and against the Eagles. And I want to see how Adoree plays now that pass rushing defensive tackle's back.
Yeah, if they're trying to create explosive plays, they won't have Rashee Rice back until Week 6, but we'll watch for that matchup against Adoree Jackson in this game. All right, let's go to Bo Nix and the Broncos, staying in the AFC West. The Broncos beat the Titans in Week 1, but quarterback Bo Nix struggled. His 19 total QBR was third worst by any starter last week in front of only Tua Tagovailoa and Cam Ward. Nix was the only quarterback to win his start Week 1 and post a QBR lower than 50. Peter, how's this team feeling about their second-year quarterback coming off a performance like that?
Might have been his worst performance of his career. Threw 2 bad interceptions, turnovers obviously, and yet they won. And one of the things that my Broncos sources actually liked was Bo just kept getting up and was lifting the team. Like, he didn't play great, but if you saw him at the end of the first half, he was rallying his teammates, and he was the one trying to get them all together. They survived this game. You need to survive and advance in this league. They are 1-0, just like the Chargers are, just like the Raiders are. They have no fears that Bo Nix isn't the guy. We know that, and it's a long season. The hope is Week 1, get it out of the way, play the team you should win against, and they did. I would say here we're going to see a much different version of Bo Nix in Week 2.
And I think the team felt like the defense carried it. And when the Broncos look around the league, it was not just Bo Nix that struggled in Week 1. Probably half the quarterbacks in the league did not have the type of game that they would like. And I think that's how they feel it is. Week 1 is always one of the more unpredictable weeks of the season. Difficult to know exactly how it's going to go. They expect more and believe they'll get more out of Bo Nix starting on Sunday against Indianapolis. Hard to imagine Denver's going on the road to an Indianapolis team that dominated Miami last week and is still favored by the odds makers to win that game. So clearly, even though Bo Nix struggled, Las Vegas still believes in Bo Nix.
What did you tell me about week 1?
It's a liar.
It's a liar. Okay, so
Don't believe it, folks.
Struggled. Cincinnati won, but in a rare occasion, Joe Burrow struggled. Actually, it was the defense that stepped up, not the story last year. A little change for this season so far. Burrow completed just 14 of 23 passes for 113 yards and a touchdown. Dan, do you see the issues from last week arising again for Burrow and company as the Jags come to town, or is that just a one-week thing for him?
That was a Myles Garrett thing. that was Joe Burrow
That makes sense.
on multiple occasions leaving the pocket too soon. And it's not that he doesn't trust it or it didn't feel that way week 1. It was, don't let Myles Garrett ruin the game. Don't let Myles Garrett ruin the game. And as the game went on, you would justify and say, yeah, I understand where Joe's coming from. So Joe's one of the, if not the best, pocket manipulators and movers in the league. And so I would fully expect that we see a little bit more of that vintage Joe Burrow in the pocket, because you're not sitting there going, Myles Garrett's on the field every single snap, and I can't allow him to ruin the game because we can't block him.
This offense is so loaded, both on paper and on the field, and they've got so much consistency from last year. There is no unknown. I mean, Zach Taylor's been the coach for 5 years with Joe Burrow. Dan Pitcher, the offensive coordinator, has been with him all 5 years. All those weapons, this is at least their second year together. I would expect them to come out guns blazing, fired up, and lighten the ball all over the field at home against a Jaguars defense that isn't even close to what they saw against Cleveland. That was an anomaly, and I know we make excuses for everyone here and there, and we say, well, this one, I truly believe Joe Burrow is still going to be on pace to break records this year. That's how good this offense is. I wouldn't look too far into week 1.
Yeah, not many quarterbacks have great numbers against Myles Garrett.
And I'd also say, there's 4 or 5 throws in that game that are sideline missed by a toe that if they make those catches, there's 27 snaps, or 27 points. So you remember the Myles Garrett hit?
Yes.
Joe Burrow put that ball flawlessly on the sideline, and they just don't drag the toe.
What are you going to do? Okay, so Peter alluded to it, but J-Mac, is there a spot in that Jags defense you think Burrow can really take advantage of?
I'm very interested in, we've already heard Liam Cohen say that Travis Hunter is going to play more on the defensive side of the ball this week. And I'm excited to see him be able to do that. If I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, what I would challenge with Travis Hunter is how much can he communicate with the rest of the defense? I would put him in stacks and bunches. I would motion and have him involved in that. One of the challenges when you're going both ways for him is going to be time on task. For the guys in the defensive secondary, you're doing things week in and week out, day in and day out, and you're communicating and you're talking about the way you're going to play things. You're going to miss some of that when you're on the other side of the ball. If you just line him up on the outside and let him go one-on-one against somebody, you're making the job easier for him. Involve him in all of the things that forces communication amongst the defense.
This was crazy to me. Burrow has never won a week 2 game in his career. He's 0-5. So here's a chance. Well, some of the time he was hurt. Some of the times they just struggled with those slow starts. He did play in the preseason this year.
Get to 2-0. Can I change everything I said about him bouncing back?
I love a stat like that. All right, new on NFL Live. Browns defensive back Grant Delpit may have made an enemy at his press conference today. Listen to this.
How does, knowing that you have to be concerned about Derrick Henry, how does that make Lamar Jackson even more effective?
They either got to run the ball or pass the ball. So, that's their 2 best players on offense.
Okay, so that if you missed it, he was talking about tackling Derrick Henry, saying it just really ain't no thing. J-Mac, you played against Henry, and we dove into the tape, so we've got the evidence here. No. This is good. Look at his face. Check this out. Check this out.
Don't do my guy wrong.
I'm nervous.
J-Mac against Derrick Henry. So you see it on the screen.
All right, come on,
J-Mac's
Make
there
a play,
at the top of the
J-Mac.
screen.
Make a play.
We got motion.
There's Marcus Mariota.
Come on,
Get out of there. Get out of there. Okay, get out of there. Do your assignment, baby. This is year 10. Year 10, you got to start to make business decisions. I'm about, go ahead, 32 years old, Derrick Henry, young, spry, maybe 26, 27, 250 pounds. I'm a $190. Hey, what's up, Mariota? Yeah, they won that game. I will say.
Yeah, go on.
We won the Super Bowl that year.
Hey, dunked on him.
Marcus Mariota was not beating you that play. He was not.
You didn't make any plays in the Super Bowl.
You were nothing in that Super Bowl.
I know, it's a joke.
Game saving, Super Bowl saving.
He made the Super Bowl saving play.
I have an idea. Next week on this show, bring your Super Bowl ring.
Oh, wow.
Put that thing out. Just subtle.
I'll bring mine.
Here. Oh.
Did UConn win a?
You got a replica of somebody else's, or all right.
J-Mac
Go
goes out, by
Puppies.
the way, we won the Super Bowl.
That was incredible. By the way, none of this is ever planned, and that just happened. So amazing.